Hi, my name is Trey, and this is my channel, Trey's Myths. If you enjoy this commentary, click the subscribe button and I'll send you more. Today I'm going to talk about instant, intuitive, narcissistic mortification. Just add clear light. After years of trying, after years of wishing that I could somehow help this person to regain their humanity, recently I have noticed the painful discernment that this individual cannot talk to me, or they can talk to me, but in order to not have it be only confrontation out of their projections, they might say hi at a very low voice as we pass by. This is a very painful subject. After watching about 105 videos on YouTube, I was watching Richard Grannon, who healed himself of this issue, because honestly, this person really has kind of rubbed their fingers in my, late adolescence, in my 30s, when I was resided in their house for several years. But first, I have to start with the history of this archetype. Again, I just don't buy or believe that this idea of a narcissist stems from a human origin. I'm afraid there's a reason why this is the problem more people seek psychology and psychiatric help for than anything else, and the person who's suffering from it almost never seeks help. Okay, I've been called this since I was a child, this term, so I wondered why. And so this channel is part of my release of this identity of a hermit, which was sort of my cocoon, part of my cocoon phase. And this individual was sort of rubbing their fingers in my subconscious, in the sense of making me believe temporarily, while I was still learning, that somebody who pretends or seems to be a loving, oneness conscious hippie, totally nurturing person who gave me an open invitation at first to their house, and then I ended up paying them a tiny amount of rent for several years. They were in a religious cult, and they appear to be very good-natured when you meet them, okay? So after really seeing what was going on, or just glimpses of even, like, say 10% of what's going on inside their subconscious, now when I see them, they kind of cower away. Because sadly, and what makes it even more crazy is about 4 or 5 years ago, we would meet and just talk about God from their ancient religious cult perspective, and they would do shamanic rituals to try to clear the energy. And this person is a very high IQ, very into spirituality, but yet their whole life they've had these archons and anti-life spirits, such as the Zeta, perhaps, interfering and influencing and making demands, and perhaps Anunnaki entities making demands on them. Okay, so I shared all levels of intimacy with this person. I lived with them. They tried to run an extortion racket on me, and then they were an Indian giver. They'd give me. They had this huge sack of trim, and they said I can have whatever I want out of that. Then they demanded payment years later, when they needed the rent. So it's interesting how the rent figures out in these personalities. And so they claim to be an avatar, and a lot of people just won't interact with them anymore, because people perceive they're hung up on this, what we would say, fake ID, and this person's parents and themselves, they're full of fixed zodiac signs. They, both their parents and their sun and rising, so that they grew up in this perception of a fixed world. They even told me they wanted to date a girl who was physically disabled so that they could take care of them and have the money, the income, without having to apply themselves, so that they would have a, this is how connected they are to this idea of serving the disabled. So, which stems from again from not being able to see this wound in the rearview mirror, the blind spot in their history, that this is what attracts this to them. So it's really sad because they were so nurturing and loving to me, and I just want to send them love. But they understand that I won't feed them any supply now, and they understand that I won't feed LOOSH to their entities, and they really understand that I'm not going to do that. And so this is how it's done, man. And it took me years to figure it out, but really I wish them nothing but peace and love, honestly. And I really would love it if at some point they become an individual, a person that's single, a single personality, because that would be the beautiful side, I would imagine, the side that is the avatar, the beauty, the conscious side. But I was just watching a Mark Passio presentation, and he speaks about the old world order. Okay, what was the old world order before the new world order? Well, this guy I'm talking about here, he kind of embodied that in his shadow. Okay, it's your masters and subjects. And Mark Passio goes on and on about the belief in kingship is the belief in violence. The belief in authority or government is a belief in violence. And I tend to think he's right on the money with that. But this cat was like, the king of all kings, and you have to do what he says kind of guy. But the narcissistic personality has extreme insecurity, okay? Almost to the point of like absurd. The vampirism was just always prevalent, They would steal food out of people's kitchens and then get hated for it, or shoplift, for food. But a lot of us did that in our 20s in this town, so in the anarchist circuits. So, you know, but they would always come with the excuse, well, I just needed that to survive, to live, or I was only doing what was best. And this person actually told me, I've conned you, or after you have been friends with me, you will never be conned by anyone else again. I've saved you from that experience, because they manipulate their own. This is how mentally ill this individual has been, that they convince themselves that this is their avatar healing me, was that they conned me so well that no one else could ever con me that well. That's a severe projection. Basically what you'll find in all religious traditions and all cults, the mainstream and the secret societies, is these psychopaths that have risen to the top because they've used Yeshua and the spiritual laws and inverted them. And this guy was no different. Now, again, I wish them nothing but peace and love. And again, the whole point of this is you bring the clear light, however long it takes you. It took me years. But you look at them in the eyes with the clear light, they're going to scamper away. They can't. If you don't feed them the LOOSH, and you don't feed them the supply, and you don't have any money or any business dealings, or you're not going to worship them, they just can't handle it. So that's where this term, I was just watching Grannon's video, that's where it comes from, because it actually dissects some of which, like I say, is so sad. The alien beast 666 inverted fake part of them, which is their shadow, growing up in this sick inverted society, it actually disables or pulls the plug energetically between you and them. This is how you do it. Now, maybe if you have a lot of discernment and clarity, you can do it in less than a few years that it took me. But wisdom is the key. And these people are attracted to the inversions in religion and media, and they often take on these concepts of solipsism and moral relativity, which Mark Passio says are two of the main keys that the Illuminati use to control the masses, that they would never be stupid enough to believe themselves. But many, over the years, the more times you forgive the narcissist who's unrepentant around, especially this part of the world, the more you go through these experiences, the more of these individuals you meet, the more you think it's normal, the more you want to be a hermit, the more you want to disassociate or go to habits. So these people really they don't know whether anyone else exists or not for sure. And their idea of oneness consciousness is you are their servant, or you are their supply, their energy, their slave, or their sex object, or just an object that looks like a human. Now, this person and all the other persons with narcissistic personality disorder, I would imagine, unless they're pure alien, they actually also view you as a human, also feel really sorry for themselves and feel like a real idiot for acting this low and this childish. And that's why they can't handle it if you don't participate in their games anymore. So you have the power. You have the power to discern how to do this. You have the power to discern how to put an end to this kind of psychological abuse. And simply seeing them as they really are. Looking them in the eyes. Okay. This is my spontaneous teaching for today. And this same guy told me, if I pay rent, I'm supporting the feudal system. Which you have to wonder, is he still manipulating me in a dark way now? I'm sitting here in the tent in the middle of the atmospheric river running through California. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. I think I'm in this tent by choice and also by habit, and because I still haven't done 100% of the shadow work to make myself brand sparkly, fresh, and new in every way. But this channel is helping me do that, and I hope it's helping you get sparkly clean. And when you realize you don't need to take anyone's psychological abuse or torture, no matter how subtle it is, no matter how many times the media convinced you like the torture, okay? The answer is reclaim your power, your sovereignty over your personal space, your etheric space, your auric space, your mental space, your telepathic space, your heart space, all of your 15 chakras. Reclaim your connection to the Most High. And when you reclaim it fully, or even approaching fully, or 96%, or even 69 or 75%, then you just don't give these kind of fools your energy. You just go, well, buddy, when you really want to be this person you say you are, then let's talk. And if this cat is watching this video right now, I say, hey, I'm here to talk to you about the Holy Spirit whenever you want. For some reason, it's been years. I don't know why. Again, I blame the tragedy of, because this person is so egocentric, they can't accept or admit that they might be susceptible to the voices that are not theirs. If you enjoyed this comment, like I say, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, enjoy, tell your friends that you got some medicine out of my words. And remember, we're all in this crazy and beautiful planet, original divine being Gaia here together. And we all have to face the dark ones within our subconscious and remove their powers to heal and become the real human divine beings we are. One love and many blessings to you all.